Hello and welcome to the Nerd Ninja Show, where we walk you through all the news, notes, and events happening in the nerd world. How are you guys out there doing today? We are sitting here with Freddy, our comic book expert. Freddy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It is a hot Texas summer day. I'm ready to kick back and talk comics and nerd-like things.
Well, good. Craig, how are you doing?
Doing fantastic. I'm also ready to talk nerdy stuff.
Well, it's a good thing that we are on the Nerd Ninja Show, where you can absolutely talk nerdy stuff. So we are going to have a good show for you today, guys. The last couple weeks, we've really focused on some of the big event-type trailers, information. Doctor Strange, there was the Turtles, there was some Harry Potter stuff. There was a little movie called Star Wars, a little independent film called Star Wars that we talked about. So it's finally time to move on to that. And there's a lot of little tidbits out there that we missed. We have a whole bunch of that information that we're going to talk about. So we're going to start off the show by running through them and give a quick little opinion about them. And later, we're going to talk about Marvel Phase 4. Kevin Feige came out with some interesting statements that are going to give us an opportunity to speculate as to what we might see during Phase 4. So that's going to be interesting. And we're going to take a look at a Russian superhero trailer. You know, because Russians have superheroes as well.
Man, bear, pig.
Man, bear, pig. No. So, yeah, we'll have that to look forward to. Plus, like I was teasing earlier, if you watched our Facebook live feed, we've got a great set of footage that these guys have not seen yet. That's going to be amazing, a little shocking, but it's going to be well worth the wait. So let's get started right here, guys. And make sure everyone out there in chat, feel free to chat along. We want to hear your opinions on any of the topics we talk about. So feel free to chime in, and let's get started. First up, guys, Jon Favreau has announced he is a beautiful man, and he is returning to the Marvel Universe. What? Yes, he is coming back. He is coming back. He has said he is going to be executive producer on Infinity War.
Oh, nice.
So it will be nice to see him back. No, nothing announced yet as far as a directing role, but I'll take whatever we can get from him that comes out. He's hot.
Definitely.
He's definitely hot off of his Jungle Book release, which just came out and was an amazing success. So I am sure that Marvel will be excited to have him back.
You know what that tells me, though?
What's that tell
we
you?
get Happy Hogan back.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So what do you think about that, Craig?
I'm
Is it good news?
excited. It's fantastic news. You know, you could just look at his early Iron Man stuff and realize how he built the whole universe for Marvel. And so to have him back in the Marvel universe is always a good thing.
Freddie?
I think he should have swingers in Infinity War. Happy Hogan and Vince Vaughn as swingers.
Okay.
I'm
always,
not sure
Freddie,
what
you go out
universe
into
you
the
live in.
Yeah, you always find a way to go out into the weirdest parts of the world.
Oh, hey, man, I'm just saying, before Iron Man, the only thing you knew Jon Favreau from was swingers and Zathura.
This is
True.
true.
Very
But he
true.
did make his name in the Marvel Universe, and we will be excited to see him come back to it. So, all right, let's take a look at this next one. Now, this one's interesting. J.A. Bayona, you know who that is.
Yeah!
He was recently announced to take over the role for Colin Trevorrow to direct Jurassic World 2. So now, the only thing he's really directed is The Orphanage and The Impossible. So it'll be kind of curious to see what will come out of that. What do you think on that, Freddie?
Okay, first of all, J.A. Bayona, I love. The Orphanage was one of my favorite movies when it came out, but you're also forgetting he has a recently finished film that's coming out called The Monster Calls, which we'll be talking about at the Nerd Ninja Horror Show soon, because that movie looks awesome. J.A. Bayona has great cinematic style, plus it's nice to see that we're getting another Latin directing behind, the camera, especially for a movie like Jurassic World.
Yep.
The way from what I've seen from when a monster calls, oh man, some of the stuff he can do with like big creature effects looks awesome in that one. Plus, he's got the chops from The Orphanage to bring a good, cohesive story.
Salty Steve here says The Orphanage is a damn fine movie.
Salty Steve, you are a damn fine man.
So perfect. Craig, what are your thoughts?
Don't know anything about this. It's I didn't see The Orphanage.
We've stumped Craig.
Yeah, this one is...
You didn't see The Orphanage?
I did not see The Orphanage, so I'll be very curious to see how he's going to deal with a really, really gigantic budget movie and see if he can take the pressures that go along with it.
More Latins behind the camera, that's what I'm saying.
Nice. Well, another little quick tidbit, which it seems like we cannot get away from talking about Batman versus Superman. Oh. But the editor, David Brenner, recently revealed that the original cut was 4 hours
Oh,
long.
that's right. Oh my God.
So similar to the same thing Snyder had with Man of Steel, which was 3.5 hours. They had to trim that down to 2.5 hours. This one was 4 hours long. So that might explain why the film felt so disjointed, and it felt like it could have been two separate movies, because before editing, it was two separate movies as far as length goes. So I'm kind of curious to see what we're going to get in the rated R cut, or how much we're going to get put back in. Craig?
Yeah, and that just tells me they should have just made it two
part 1 and 2,
movies
yeah.
to begin with. That would probably, you could have had it in the beginning of the year like we just had, and then we could have finished it up at the end of the year, and maybe it would help fill some of those plot holes that we all been yelling about. And it would have helped a lot better maybe setting up the universe.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely. Freddie?
Man, okay, so we got a 3-hour director's cut coming out, but where's the other hour of movie? What
was that? What was the content?
Yeah.
How did it affect the film?
So my thing is, I know.
Let me stop you there. Now, commonly this happens where many films exceed, 20, 25% longer than their intended release, but we're talking a complete double as far as what it was wanting to do. So continue.
Well, my thing is, all right, there's several things I could have done. Now, granted, all right, work with me here, people. This probably isn't going to make much sense, but an example would be Grindhouse. When that movie came out, Tarantino Rodriguez, Double Joint, you could have done several release things with that. You could have done half now, half a year later, like they did with the Harry Potter films, or you know what? Go ballsy with it. DC's got the people obviously ready to see this movie. Why don't you have an intermission? Kind of like Tarantino did with Hateful Eight, or perhaps kind of how you did with between Planet Terror and Death Proof, something in between, or better yet, you know what? Just like release the whole damn thing. Obviously, people would have seen it. Oh, it's the longest running
That
movie
dude
I can
Daniel
think of.
said he might have watched the whole thing had they released it for
Yeah.
4 hours.
I
So
mean, like, all right, so I was at the Alamo Draft House with a booth for my comic book store, and I had people, we got set up like 3 hours. We were there for 3 or 4 hours, and we didn't actually get response to people getting out of the first showing till we were leaving, because that's how long the movie was. And everyone stayed in. Everyone went through. People sold out these theaters. So if you're going to put out the whole movie, put out the whole movie. Granted, you might not be able to do that in the theater, but if there's a 4-hour cut, damn it, I want to see the 4-hour cut on DVD.
see if it makes it any better.
Lord of the Rings, man. Those movies are 4 hours half the time on the extended cuts.
This is true. So, well, before you get too heated up, we'll move
Sorry.
on here. Now, we all know that J.K. Simmons has been announced as the new Commissioner Gordon in Justice League film. So, a couple questions here. One, how do you think he's going to do playing Commissioner Gordon? Can you get past the J. Jonah Jameson in him? Is that going to happen, Craig?
Yeah, I think so, because unless he puts on the crazy hairpiece and the mustache, I think we'll get past the fact that, he's J. Jonah Jameson. He'll look completely different than J. Jonah.
But he still does, even all of his acting styles, he still has the same mannerisms. He still has that same look. So I know personally it's going to be a little tough. Freddie, what do you think?
I'm so sad. Spider-Man is one of my favorite comic books of all time. I follow that character forever. J. Jonah Jameson is a hilarious damn character. He really brought that to screen. I loved it. I mean, I guess he can be Gordon. He's a good actor. He's very versatile. The last movie I saw him in where he played a role similar to that was probably, dear God, Terminator Genesis. Because he plays the cop in the 80s who grows up in the future, just be, in his 40s. Well, I remember the Terminators when they came the first time. And he's had serious roles. And in that one, he's a serious cop. But he's probably going to kill it. But it's not going to be the same for me. I want him as J. Jonah Jameson.
Well, here's the thing. Now that he is Commissioner Gordon, it's blatantly obvious that he will not be able to reprise his role as J. Jonah Jameson. So, who can fill those shoes? Who can step in and give us that same J. Jonah Jameson, the hothead that we're so used to, and which J.K. Simmons played so iconically?
Have you heard the Ice Cube theory?
I don't know if I want to hear this, but
Go
ahead.
There's a rumor that someone somewhere is talking to Ice Cube about playing J. Jonah Jameson. Which, it would be damn funny, I'm not going to lie, because I love him in 2122 Jump Street, but Man,
which he does play a similar role to what.
Yeah.
but he's a lot more vulgar than J. Jonah Jameson in that
Which
movie.
I don't think we're going to get an R-rated cut of Spider-Man. So I
not
don't think we have
unless
anything
James
to worry
Cameron's
about that.
writing it.
I don't think that's the case. Craig, what are your thoughts? Is he replaceable?
Is it replaceable? Oh yeah, somebody will come in. They always have people coming in and nail the part, and someone will do great. It's just it'll be a hard search, and it'll be a hard find, and we'll all miss the original, but someone will come in and just be awesome.
Give me
So,
Lewis Black.
You know what? I could almost work with that.
Yeah.
Except I don't think that J. Jonah Jameson can sit there and drink scotch while he's berating Peter Parker.
Well, they just
that might
CGI it
be-
to make it look like water.
Interesting. I will take that. Now, let's jump over to an interesting one. This gentleman right here. His name is Alden. I'm going to butcher his name. Ehrenreich. No, Ehrenreich. Something like that. That's kind of what it is. But he is the front runner for the role in the new Han Solo film.
What?
So now, this is the front runner that they're talking about. So take a good look. This is the guy that might be Han Solo.
Oh.
Silence.
Yeah, I think you got us both here.
Yes, exactly. Silence. I think it's such an iconic character. Harrison Ford has done so well with it and has done it for so long that it is hard to imagine anyone else. We talk about J.K. Simmons being replaced. How do you replace Harrison Ford? I mean, obviously we are going to a younger character, so that needs to be a younger person involved. But still, I think it's going to be a hard adjustment for everyone, any Star Wars fan, to make that transition.
I need to see him in costume.
Probably so.
Before I could really say anything.
Now the other one, the side note, you know who else was in that and has since been not casted for it.
Thank
but,
God. I think I know what you're talking about.
Dave Franco.
Yes.
Dave Franco was talking about it, and he was up for the role. So this is the front runner. So we may hear some more news from that, and probably as we get closer, maybe at San Diego Comic-Con. Maybe there'll be an announcement. There's always some big news that comes out of there, so we'll have to wait and see. We got Food Stamp over here asking a question. What do you think about all the cross-networking with Xbox and PlayStation and PC, etc.? I think it's fantastic. I think the ability to have any system you want and play with your friends, regardless of PlayStation 4 or Xbox or PC, is brilliant. I'm not sure exactly how all the manufacturers feel about it, but I'm looking forward to it. Freddie, do you have any thoughts on that?
I agree with the fact that a lot of the manufacturers of the games will probably be like, what the hell? But, I mean, I remember the biggest problem I had, like, playing games most of the time, especially when I had, like, copious amounts of money to just throw up video games, was all my friends had different systems. So that was the biggest problem, was trying to get us all on one thing.
Well, hopefully that solves that problem, Craig.
I'm with you, Joe. Anytime that we can actually all get together, and doesn't matter which platform, and get together and play games, will be great.
Which, incidentally, the PlayStation just recently announced that PlayStation Neo or 4.5 will be coming out, which is 4K, which also has the ability for new technology to come in. So there's going to be more news on that soon. I'm sure we'll definitely talk about it. But let's get back on track here. We didn't have much to say about the future Han Solo. No. But here's an interesting one. Now, do you know what this is from? You know what this still's from? This is Tom Cruise on a set photo from the remake of The Mummy. So Brendan Fraser took that role and made it pretty iconic. You know, a lot of spin-offs came from that. The Rock kind of made his name in the Scorpion King films. Yeah. So what do you guys think about Tom Cruise taking this role and taking this mantle forward? Craig?
All right. So first, I have a question. So are you making The Mummy from the Brendan Fraser universe, or is it the Boris Karloff
Nothing to
universe?
Do with the Brendan Fraser universe. It's literally Universal going, oh my God, Marvel has all these different properties under their ownership. We have all these Universal monsters that we made our entire studio on, what we're famous for. We can take them all and make a shared universe. Problem is, I think, unless you're an uber geek like me, who's all about the old school horror movies, most of the kids aren't going to go for the, oh my God, look at the big budget Mummy movie or the Invisible Man movie. No one knows who they are unless you're... I mean, everyone knows what a mummy is, but for like Creature from the Black Lagoon or the Invisible Man. Like who?
Yeah, but this sounds like a brilliant opportunity then to get new people in to view your properties.
Well, no, that's a good
last
And
point.
that's probably what the intention is, especially bringing in Tom Cruise.
This is a definite intention. I know that there's a huge thing in the horror community right now where we're all kind of excited about the fact that we have someone like Tom Cruise in this day and age would be interested in even touching a horror movie or a Universal monster movie, if you will.
Well, all I'm going to say about Tom Cruise, and yeah, he's crazy as a bat, but he always makes movies I want to watch. And so, yeah, I think I would probably go out and watch this just to see how he's going to do a take on the Mummy. I love the Boris Karloff films.
Well, hey, Boris Karloff, dude.
And I'll be interested to see what is he going to play. Now he's obviously going to play the hero, right?
He's not going to play Boris Karloff.
Okay.
Well, you're going to like this comment from Salty Steve. He said he's looking for a remake. He would love to see it of the Monster Squad.
Oh! Dude,
You
you
just
are
made
my
Freddy's
man.
day.
Okay, so my idea for a Monster Squad 2, take all the different slasher ghosts and ghoulies. So, like, we get Leatherface, Michael Myers, Freddy
I
Krueger.
think it's a
all
little different version of what
No,
Monster Squad.
no.
Yeah.
So
They
you're
fight
saying-
the Monster Squad. The Monster Squad teams up with Ash. There's a fake trailer for Monster Squad 2 out there. Go watch it. It is the most amazing thing ever.
Well, there you go. You guys heard it. Go look for the fake Monster Squad trailer. So those are our thoughts on Tom Cruise. We'll definitely wait to see as filming does continue. They've just cast a few more actors. I think I briefly saw the
Johnny Depp's Invisible Man.
interesting. Well, we'll have to look forward to that. So let's move on to the next one. And obviously this is good. Deadpool 2 was officially announced and greenlit,
Electric Boogaloo.
and they did confirm Cable. So we pretty much knew that information, but now it's actually confirmed. So the most interesting part is now the search for Cable. Obviously, Stephen Lang was, highly promoting himself.
Yeah, he was.
To be in this. If you don't know who he is, just go watch Avatar, and you'll see
That's
Stephen Lang.
Bush.
Exactly. So he's fighting for that, but I think it's going to be magnificent on whoever gets the role. I think they'll find someone iconic to fill that. Hopefully, Craig, what are your thoughts? So you just.
I'm super excited. I vote for Ron Perlman as Cable. He already has the white hair. And
But
I think he would do a
Ron
great
Perlman, he just had a birthday, I believe, last weekend. 63?
Is that right?
63 years old. So
Dude, you don't look
they better hurry. They
Yeah,
better hurry is
out
all I'm
there.
saying. So that's definitely something to look forward to. On Freddie, your thoughts?
I want Ron Perlman or Stephen Lang. Those are my two top choices for Cable.
Anything else you're going to riot?
I'm going to riot?
Is that what you can do? If it's not those two guys, you're gonna,
I mean, no, but
see-
I'm always down for my thing with when it comes to roles like this. I'm always down for like the obvious choices that I think would work or a newcomer because I'm always down for a fresh face in Hollywood. Because honestly, Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool, this was his first feature film. He's done a bunch of work on films, but he's been trying to get a feature film his whole life. I think it would be awesome if he got someone new for this role as well. Because in the spirit of Deadpool, it's all about giving the losers some chances.
All right, yeah,
Interesting.
that'd be great.
Okay, I'll
'cause
take it.
he knocked it out with a bunch of, besides Deadpool himself, he knocked it out with a bunch of relatively lesser-known actors in it, except for the guy that played Deadpool.
this is true. We have a
Rye
couple people
Red.
talking about Ron Perlman, how he can barely walk, and he needs to get swole fast from some maize there. So
They got drugs.
there's not a lot of Ron Perlman love out there,
No.
guys.
And I get that
well.
CGI up on him.
But that's okay. So next, we recently got the announcement about Spidey, and
we did.
we got the title for the new Spider-Man movie, Homecoming. Take a look here. Here's the logo for it. I have seen this. The Spider-Man looks very Saturday morning cartoonish to me.
Yeah.
Homecoming, as far as a name, I'm not sure. I honestly don't think I've put too much thought into it yet, just because it still sounds strange to me.
Yeah.
And what is he homecoming from? Obviously, I guess the double entendre of him coming back to Marvel from Sony. But how does that play into what the actual film will be? So a couple questions, and then I'll let you guys answer. Does that mean we're going to get Spider-Man Homecoming? So we're going to skip his origin story, like Batman. That's probably the case. I'm not sure exactly what else they could mean by choosing Homecoming. It is definitely the strangest thing I saw for such a big property. Craig, what do you think?
I with you. This one, when they finally announced it, what it was going to be, I was really confused because, like, did he? What is he homecoming to? Did he leave New York? Did he? are we coming back to New York?
Because we know the Homecoming applies to coming back to Marvel.
Yeah.
But cinematically, that's not gonna, we're not going to talk about, hey, Spider-Man's here.
Right.
You came back from Sony. It's
so
not going to be in the film.
are they going to do kind of like, what was it, the Superman Returns movie that Spider-Man went away for a while, then he comes back? Or, I don't know, there's just so much into this that just really kind of confuses me.
Well, Freddie, I got a question for you from that dude, Daniel. He said, isn't this a storyline in the comics?
It is.
So tell us about it.
I don't know too much about it. I do know it is a big storyline where he's kind of going back and forth with Captain America and Iron Man. And so I believe personally the Homecoming thing is going to be one of two things. There's obvious, the back to Marvel, but with this being the teenage years of Peter Parker, you're either going to have like a double entendre with it being a homecoming possibly for high school or something like that. But also I think the Homecoming would refer to a homecoming from war, if you think about it, because Civil War is what starts Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe.
Nice.
And the Homecoming would be him coming back after being torn apart between Iron Man and Captain America, I believe.
So do you think this will make more sense after Civil War?
I think it will make a lot more sense after Civil War, especially with the Russo brothers' recent comments that apparently they were not prepared to do Civil War without Spider-Man. So if they had not gotten the rights back to Spider-Man, they said they wouldn't kind of been screwed because he's a big part of Civil War, apparently.
So good. So maybe that has something to tie it, and maybe it's just leading us. We'll definitely have to wait and see. We've got Changeman here. He's wanting to know when the Infinity Gauntlet, including Thanos Quest, coming to the big screen. I believe we have to wait till 2018 for the first the first Avengers Infinity War, and then followed there, I think, by 2019, which I think 2019 is when Marvel Phase 3 completes, and it'll transition to Marvel Phase 4, which we will be talking about that here later in the show. So stick around for that. Like someone commented here, Spider-Man Prom Night sounds more interesting.
If they did Prom Night like the old school horror movie with Jamie Lee Curtis, that'd be awesome.
All right, we'll take that. So now, keeping with Spider-Man, recently, it wasn't completely confirmed, but just about almost confirmed, is that our favorite Batman, Michael Keaton, has been announced to play a villain in the new Spider-Man movie. So the question is, obviously everyone probably did. I know I did. My first thought was Alfred Toombs, Vulture. He is an aged character. I'm not sure how the Vulture would play into this. He probably personally is one of the weaker characters, but that might tie into his daughter, that whole storyline where the extra Vultures come out. But he could also play a human character. Maybe that's more an executive or part of a
Norman Osborn.
Very well could be. So what are your thoughts, Craig, as far as Michael Keaton?
This may be too obscure, but I think he should play Silvermane.
Oh! All right. Craig throwing out some obscure
The more I thought about it, the more I think it'd be much more exciting to play Silvermane, that old school mob boss that eventually will armor himself up to take on Spider-Man to try and preserve his life.
And you know what, that could be a valid theory, because we do know Disney is a big fan of taking characters that aren't well known. That's why the Norman Osborn thing is almost too easy. He's been done in 2 different series now, so I think it's just something that they don't want to really to use that character. Freddie?
I like the Silvermane storyline that Craig's going with. Also, I'm thinking a lot of street thugs from the original comics, like Hammerhead or Fancy Dan and the Ox.
Oh God!
I don't think we're going that obscure, Freddie.
I don't know. Well, my thing is like we could have a bunch of like random little characters like that, and then some big villains in the exterior.
Now that unfortunately leads us to the big question when it comes to superhero movies is villain saturation. We've seen the bad side of that, Batman and Robin. As far as
Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Exactly,
I don't know what you're talking about, the movie's greatness.
Amazing Spider-Man 3 and a handful of others out there that have gone with way too many villains. It's hard to develop stories, hard to develop characters. So I hope that's not the case. So
Me
we'll
too.
definitely,
especially if they use even if it is the Vulture or Silvermane or stuff like that. Silvermane was a mob boss, so he could be a main villain of himself, and you could have a bunch of cronies that go up there and fight and do all that type of stuff, and you wouldn't have to have a whole bunch of other supervillains that you have to explain who they are. Or
I think the thing you guys are forgetting though is Marvel is really good about just setting up villains. Andy Serkis is obviously Claw for the Black Panther movie. He's in Avengers Age of Ultron. Granted, Avengers Age of Ultron is very saturated, but point is, you can throw in a big name actor for a starting role that's going to play in big later.
This is true. That could happen. And we got the chat here with Changeman talking about no sequels are ever good except Empire Strikes Back, which is mostly correct, though I'm a big fan of Spider-Man 2.
I love Spider-Man 2.
As well as X2. I think Singer did an amazing job on that one as well. So there's a
love
couple
that one,
out there, but you are correct for the most part. Sequels tend to go a little bit south. And
Godfather dose.
There you go. That's about what we're doing there. So we're going to wait to see what happens with Michael Keaton, and maybe they'll announce his character, which we are all looking forward to. Now we're going to jump back, which we seem to keep coming back to this film. But take a look. We all know who this is.
Gambit.
Everyone's favorite eye candy. Well, he has just been added to the Kingsman Golden Circle cast. So what are your thoughts on that, Freddie?
I'm very 50-50 on this man.
Is this a ploy for the studios to say we want a little more of a female audience? So they're going to go out and get everyone's favorite person to look at?
Man, I mean, okay, he was pretty good in Hateful Eight. I love him in the Jump Street movies. He can hit or miss with me. I haven't seen Magic Mike. I don't know why I would, honestly. It's not my thing.
It's not your favorite? You don't have that one on replay?
I mean, only when I'm hanging out with Dallas Spidey, but
all right.
I don't know. It's an interesting choice. I know he's been dropped
He does have
from the
some
Gambit
comedic
movie.
chops, and Mark Miller, he certainly likes to have the comedic action characters in there, so it could be a good fit. Craig, what are your thoughts?
Again, to me, he's always hit or miss too, because he plays either he is really good, kind of like the 21 Jump Street movies,
or he's G.I. Joe.
Yeah, then it's G.I. Joe, which was not good. So I really hope we get the good part, because if it is, then I'll be much more down for this idea.
All right. Well, an interesting casting note also, which they've always been looking to add cameos for this one, and with the sequel coming out, it's definitely getting a lot of powerhouse. Check out this next one.
Whoa!
Sir Elton John is rumored to be brought in as a cameo for Kingsman as well. So that I thought was pretty interesting. I would love to see him play a villain. That would be pretty good.
The best.
I could definitely see him as being a villain, and we've got Julianne Moore, we've got Halle Berry, Channing Tatum, and now Elton John. They're kind of putting a lot to this movie. It seems like it's been an underground swell for it, but now when we start looking at the cast, and it's an amazing cast they're putting together. We're talking Oscar or Academy Award, Golden Globe winners and nominees. It's pretty impressive. I'm looking forward to this movie.
I'm getting to look forward to it now more and more too. Be really curious to see how they're going to do this.
All right. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. Now, from one that's just getting its first sequel to one that's had a whole bunch of them, this was recently announced. Underworld Blood Wars. Kate Beckinsale is back for the 5th installment of Underworld. She seems to keep coming back to this one. Freddie's keeping quiet over here. I'm about to take off the leash, and we're going to let Freddie talk about this. Oh, and to add on to that, it's already rumored that they're planning for a 6th Underworld film with Beckinsale. Go, Freddie!
Why? Okay, everyone's going to hate me. Everyone's going to hate me right now.
That dude Daniel, damn it, Freddie. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Freddie. Speak your mind.
I don't care for these movies. I think the director, he is all about look and style. I think that's great. He's a good, aesthetically pleasing director. I don't think he can bring the drama very well in these movies. I've never cared about any of the characters. I mean, I love werewolves and vampires, but these are very CGI and gothic. Not even gothic, they're goth. It's just nothing that appeals to me. I've seen 2 of them or 3 of them. They just never did anything for me. I'm not a huge Kate Beckinsale fan. I'm sorry.
What is wrong with you? First of all, half the werewolves weren't CGI; they were practical effects.
I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. They didn't impress me at all. I don't remember it being.
And it did keep a very gothic view on everything. Kate Beckinsale was amazing.
His spandex and
it was vampires and
Freddie,
werewolves.
in the chat, we're getting a donation, please, to hit you. For donations here, so you've struck a nerve there. Craig, tell us your thoughts. You clearly disagree with
everyone
Freddie.
Off.
Go, Freddie, fight, or Craig, fight Freddie. Go for it.
I love these movies. I love the Underworld movies. I love Kate Beckinsale. I am super excited that they're bringing them back. Vampires versus werewolves is the best thing because we get vampires that want to kill people and not fall in love with them. We get werewolves that want to rip people up and not fall in love with them. It's a whole bunch of great stuff. Freddy just doesn't understand good movies.
Whoa!
Hashtag Craig versus Freddy.
Just like,
So that's, we've got a good thing here, Freddy. He struck a blow. What do you have a response there, Freddy?
I don't care. I just like, why would I?
no, Freddy just likes Twilight, and that's just what he
Oh
wants.
yeah, I totally didn't break up with a girl over Twilight. Yeah,
Because she probably didn't like it.
yeah, of course. I don't care about these characters, and everyone's all like, "Shell's so hot." I don't care. Give me Rose McGowan with the machine gun leg. Let's do that. Fighting vampires and werewolves.
All right. Well, there you go. That's definitely a hot button we hit. All these great topics out there, and Underworld is what brings out the rage. But from dark and gritty, let's move on to bright and sunny. And yes, this is happening. This is a shot of The Rock as Zac Efron.
I take it back.
And
This is
the
the best thing I've
Hasselhoff.
seen all day.
They're creating a Baywatch movie starring The Rock and Zac Efron.
Oh my god!
I just had to put this in the show just because I wanted everyone to take a good look at that shot.
Oh
And
Jesus!
Craig, tell
This
us
is the
what your
greatest thing
thoughts.
ever. Oh my god! First of all, it's just why, but now that I see this, why not? Let's just bring the crazy, bring it, just go all crazy on this.
Freddie?
Is David Hasselhoff going to be in this movie too?
Oh yeah, there's a shot of him right
so
over
he's
there.
not just making a cameo there. and
It's
just
probably more in a cameo role, or he might be.
he needs to be in it.
So that's definitely.
I
something.
am down for this film. I'll go watch this.
Freddie, I know you're excited. There's The Rock with his shirt off.
Okay. This is weird. Why? I'd rather a Knight Rider movie, but that's fine. If we can see him fight piranhas like Piranha 3 Double D, I'm down.
And Dallas Spidey, we want to thank you for your $15 donation. We always appreciate the donations. It helps a long way for us to get some new gear, upgrade the show, and maybe one day make Freddy shave. So we're always open for those donations. Hashtag Shave Freddy. But back to Baywatch. It is what it is. They're always going to take these older shows and do it. I'm looking
Never
for.
thought this would be the one they would take, though. Of all the shows to take, like you mentioned, Knight Rider, or I didn't think Baywatch.
They want that guy to remake Big Trouble in Little China. They want that guy to remake Jack Burton. Hell no.
How about a Gilligan's Island with Jason Statham remake?
What the
I
hell?
think that would be good. we might as well go that far. We're
Why
kind of going out
not?
there.
Bring it. Bring it.
All right, so let's move on to other characters that are coming in with some iconic roles here. Take a look at this. We've got
Jesus.
Scarlett Johansson. First look at her playing the Major in Ghost in the Shell. What do you think, Freddy? Is this going to be? I don't even know what to. It's such an iconic animated film that.
Well, first of all, you have the problem of the director being the same director who made Snow White and the Huntsman, which, if you know, infamously got pretty much fired from that franchise for his love affair with Kristen Stewart, and pretty much lost the ability to make movies after that for a long time. Now he's making this, and I'm not one for controversy too much of the time, but I'm put under the impression that they're trying to CGI the actors to make them look more Asian. Why aren't you hiring Asian actors?
That is the controversy with the first image we've seen, and the internet certainly is lit up about that.
I have no problem with them doing the acting, but if they're
No, they're probably going more for the name. They're probably looking for big budget names. She's coming, fresh off of Civil War and the Avengers stuff. So it's probably a play to bring that.
She can bring it. I mean, she's a great actress. She, Black Widow and all that stuff. She can do the action. It is, so obviously they, not only is she bringing the name, but she can do the action and stuff.
Absolutely. So that's probably why they have her.
But if you're spending so much money to CGI these people's faces to make them look like something else, what is the
agree.
point?
That's the confusing part.
It's definitely
about
a
all
line
that
that
If
probably
you're gonna
should
bring
not have
in-
been crossed.
Yeah. If you're going to
there's
bring in
no
Scarlett
reason.
Johansson, just use her and just say, hey, we thought that she was the best actress for the part. And just said that's what we're going to go with. Or again, just like Freddie said, just why not go out there and get Japanese people to play Japanese parts?
Like this character, I think they should have gotten the actress from Pacific Rim.
Probably. That would actually been a good thing. But once again, I think we're going for brand name power here in the case of this, especially with Ghost in the Shell. You know, they want it to be the transition from in anime pretty much is where it's at, and the transition from the animated version of it to a big budget film. That's what they're going to do. This is what studios do.
Well,
so
again, if you're going to do that, that's fine. Then just say, we got the best person for this part that we believe is the best person for our part, and just say that's what it's just going to be, that. Instead of trying to CGI anything to try and make him look more Asian. Just say, we got the best person for the part. This is the direction we're going to go.
My fear is this is going to turn into as bad as a thing as when we had Marlon Brando playing a Japanese man at the end of that one movie where he's like, and here we are at the end of the film. And I'm just like, Jesus, Marlon, I used to love you. What the hell is this?
Yeah,
This is the same man who, when he won an Oscar, sent up a Native American woman to accept it to tell the studios stop treating Native Americans wrong. But he's over here like, and we are happy today. Thank you, everyone. What the hell is wrong with Hollywood half the time?
Well, it wasn't just a CGI test. Salty Steve is letting us know. They were trying to test out, see what it is. Obviously, there's going to be a pretty intense reaction, especially from the Asian community. I'm pretty sure about that. Yep. So we'll wait and see what happens there. We'll move on from that and wait for that trailer to come out, and I guess that'll really tell us which direction they decided to go. That's all we can do. So let's take a look at this next one. This is obviously they've released the logo for Power Rangers, but along with that, today we just got the first look at Rita Repulsor, played by Elizabeth Banks. And look at that. Definitely a stark contrast from what we're used to seeing in the TV series. Definitely looks a little more aggressive. Let's just say that. Kind of a killer Poison Ivy in a way. Craig, what are your thoughts?
Definitely made her more dragon-like or lizard-like, and she just looks amazing. I'm down for this. This looks great.
She got some skin rash.
But so yeah, I'm. This looks amazing. And I'm for it too. This is great.
Salty Steve said Green Goblin's looking pretty hot these days.
I know, right?
Which is a better Green Goblin than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Anything's better than that.
There we go. Freddie, what are your thoughts on Rita Repulsor?
She looks like she came out of Mortal Kombat. I mean, of course we can't do like the cheesiness of the show, but I mean it's interesting. Until I see it in action, I don't think I can say anything about this because honestly, it just kind of looks like she has this weird skin disease and she's got all this weird alien stuff on her.
Didn't she say that she's expecting more of, unlike the original Rita Repulsa in the TV show where she was more of a sit back and tell people what to do things? Didn't she say in an interview that she was planning on being more physical?
Well, she's got that sexy whip around her. She's going to be beating the Power Rangers
more
with.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll get a trailer soon. We can check this out. So that's all the little tidbits that we've had that we've kind of let go by the wayside for the past couple of weeks. But now we've got something interesting. Now, America's not the only one that can have superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
So recently a Russian superhero movie called Guardians put out a trailer, and it's pretty darn amazing. Let's actually take a look at that trailer right now.
В стране, в которой никогда не было супергероев, они появились на свет как обычные люди. Но однажды они сделали выбор. Или выбор был сделан за них. Они были созданы оберегать тех, кто даже и не подозревал об их существовании. И когда той страны не стало, они остались. Но однажды зло выйдет из тени прошлого, и они будут готовы дать ему решающий бой.
Well, what do you think, guys?
Man, better big look awesome.
Pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive. I think now we actually have the X-Men movie that we want.
Wow.
Damn,
Dude,
dude.
see, Craig,
I
he's...
mean,
That's from the X-Men fan over
I
here.
Yeah.
am the X-Men fan, but that's amazing. I mean, it looked like an X-Men movie, and just that we all wanted from.
Now, there is an extended cut from the character with the sickle for the blade.
Yes.
You can go on YouTube and check that out. That scene alone is pretty amazing, where he's in the desert and takes on a whole bunch of bad guys in cars coming after him. Give you a little
That
better idea
is-
about this movie, but
wow.
it definitely looks impressive. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Subtitles or no subtitles, down
Yeah.
Spidey. You can learn to read. Freddie, what are your thoughts on that?
So I saw actually a little bit of footage from this, that part where he's like taking out the tanks. I saw the original footage of that from a long time ago, and it was on a bunch of horror sites, and I was like, what is this? This looks awesome. No one knew what it was just some footage of that fight scene. And then when we saw the trailer finally for it, I was like, oh my God, a Russian superhero movie? That's amazing. And they definitely look a lot more intense. Almost like, I would say it's almost like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie we wanted.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works too.
Well, the effects, the water girl,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the bear puppy monkey
Man,
baby.
bear
What
pig.
was it? Puppy monkey baby. It looks amazing.
The
I can't.
bear just goes out there and knocks everybody out.
So
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. But let's jump back to.
I really wanted to give him my money. Bring this movie here.
Yeah, for real.
Well, let's jump back to our superheroes here. So Kevin Feige has dropped some hints regarding Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was quoted as saying, "I think there will be a finality to moments of Phase 3, as well as new beginnings that will mark a distinctly different chapter in what will someday be a complete first saga made up of 3 phases." And then added, that's somewhat intentional to go and explore the other aspects of the universe, referring to Marvel. So here's the question. What properties are left to continue the next phase for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? What characters can we take? We clearly know mutants are out.
Yeah.
Fox has those. They're not going to let these guys go. We've worked with Guardians. No one saw that one coming, and it was a huge hit. We covered Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, the Avengers, Captain America. So we've covered everything. What's left? Now, before we go on that, I've put together some images for us to take a look at on the possibilities of what could be heading to Phase 4. Some of them might be pretty obvious, but let's take a look at it. And guys, in the chat room, we definitely want to hear what you have to say. Remember, we're looking for really good possibilities. We know X-Men can't do it. We know there's a couple other
Fantastic
properties.
Four can't.
Fantastic
No.
Four. Well,
Kids out.
who knows?
Silver
Fantastic
Surfer.
Four. They might let that thing go after the disaster that has been there. So
Please
let's start
God.
with here. We know they've announced 3 movies for 2020, and we are assuming one of them is probably going to be
Inhumans.
Yeah.
Inhumans right here. We know that one was pushed back from its original date, and I think Deadpool 2 is going to take that spot. So, actually, it wasn't Deadpool 2. It was... they've announced what films are going to take that spot. So Inhumans will probably end up being Phase 4 property. So we'll look forward to that. What do you guys think about that? Is that pretty
I
obvious?
love it.
Pretty obvious at this
Yeah,
point. They've
pretty
been like
obvious.
guaranteed it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. hardcore as well.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Salty Steve says Howard the Duck. Which
Please,
is,
God, yes.
Which might be something they could carry on to there.
Seth
He is
Green would
definitely
come
property.
back.
He's in the universe. It's definitely
Yeah.
possible.
His redemption movie.
So how about this one, guys? Now that Spider-Man's back, what about taking a movie that they had been in the works for? Sony was working on a Sinister Six film. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so they have Drew Goddard on with Daredevil. Drew Goddard was tapped by Sony to get the Sinister Six movie going. If they take him back and put him on for the Marvelverse, so many possibilities. I would love that. If you guys don't know who Drew Goddard is, he did the Daredevil cinematic stuff. He also did Cabin in the Woods, and he also did the Martian screenplay. He's been in the Joss Whedon camp forever. He's perfect for this, I think.
Now that dude Daniel says Fight Against Galactus, which again, that one still stems
Still
into the
fantastic.
Fox
Yeah.
properties.
Because I would say Silver Surfer
Right.
if not for that.
Yeah.
would be great, but the Galactus, Fantastic Four,
Silver
and the
Surfer,
X-Men are all
yeah,
sitting at
that's
Fox. Hopefully they can screw it up bad enough to where we can get Marvel to do the same deal with Sony and Spider-Man and make stuff like this happen.
Does Fox have the rights to the scrolls?
That's under Fantastic Four,
Yeah, I
sadly.
was wondering if
Yeah,
that was
it
true.
is
yeah.
on there. But with the unbelievably non-success of Fantastic Four, who knows?
Please,
maybe we'll get
please,
lucky,
man,
and
please.
Fox will say, here, we're going to stick with the mutants. You can handle the rest of these
Yeah,
guys.
because they cannot
So,
do Fantastic Four. No.
here's another one. We know the female heroine
It's been
is very
announced.
popular, and it has been announced, but there is Captain Marvel. So we know that's going to be in
Carol
Phase
Danvers.
3. But is this going to be a character that will continue into Phase 4 that they carry out? Because we do know Hemsworth and Downey and all these guys are probably not going to carry that far into it.
Yeah.
We're not, in
No.
2020, we're looking, still 4 years away, and I don't think those properties will carry over. So could this be one that takes the kind of lead as far as the character and move forward into Phase 4? Freddie?
I think the big thing with this, though, is that's going to be Marvel's first female superhero movie. And if we look at it, a lot of these actors have been building the universe together for a long time. But also, if you look at the history of Marvel and the way Marvel's going right now, the baton's been passed a lot, especially right now. So I think one of the things we could get from this is Captain Marvel, obviously, but that would lead to Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, as
Oh,
well.
nice.
And that is another
Yeah.
option
We
on there.
could also get a lot of those different characters like female Thor or Falcon Captain America. There's several people who could take up the Captain America. Honestly, I think Falcon and Bucky would be the only two I would want, but those
And there's probably a good possibility that will happen.
at the end of Civil War, I
yeah,
think.
exactly. Craig, what are your thoughts?
I think this will be all right. Captain Marvel was really, really cool. But if this leads to a Miss Marvel film with Kamala Khan, that I'm really down for. I love her, and she's an amazing character.
Which is the first Indian character as well as female. So
And-
that would
and, yeah.
definitely probably be pretty popular on that goes. So, female Iron Man, that dude Daniel.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Pepper Potts or Mary Jane.
Absolutely. Now, what about this one here?
Oh.
See Jennifer Walters come to the big screen. Now, I have a couple thoughts on this one. One, she's in the universe. It's a character that's been pretty popular and has not been exposed yet as far as being in this universe. But I think this one probably lends itself more to a Netflix series
show.
than it
So
does
I was going to ask,
a
are you
film.
asking for Jennifer Walters the superhero, or are you asking for Jennifer Walters the lawyer?
Which is the definite curiosity we have. But I think
Yeah.
this one
Two of
probably
them go hand in hand, personally, for me.
They do
Well-
go hand in hand, but as far as bringing it to a big screen versus a series like Netflix, and it fits with what we've got with Jessica Jones and Daredevil, the Defenders.
When she's
coming
hardcore
out.
buddies with Patsy Walker, and I
Right.
think you could bring Howard the Duck into it, too. That would be the place.
That'd be all right. I'd be down for that. But yeah, I think if we're going to use her as the lawyer, more as the lawyer than, say, the Avengers superhero, then I think I'd be more down for the Netflix series.
Absolutely. Now, we got another interesting one. Check this one out, guys. Namor.
Can't happen.
I know there is some issues with the rights, but from my understanding and looking into this, there is some loopholes that might bring him over to the Disney side.
I want it so bad. Namor, the Submariner, is one of my favorite
gonna
characters.
say,
He's
you could-
pretty badass, but those rights issues are something to do from back when it was Timely Comics, and it's the same reason they can't use the Invaders really in the Captain America stuff. It's all owned under something else technically.
But so far, we've seen Disney has been pretty resorceful as far as
That's true.
getting
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So, are you ready for this one? Here's my crazy theory of the week. So, let's go hypothetical, and we say Fox releases the Fantastic Four rights, so which we're reaching,
Yeah.
and we see Namor find its way to Disney. Now, that leaves the potential for, which Disney came out with Guardians of the Galaxy. Once again, no one ever saw that one coming, and it was just a massive hit. But there already are half the characters and just a few away from joining into
Oh, the Illuminati. That's
Nice.
true.
the Illuminati. We've already got the Inhumans, which we know are coming. We've got Doctor Strange, who is there. Iron Man is there, obviously with the exception of Professor X.
Yeah.
But including Namor and Fantastic Four, which are those two properties that just are on the cusp of maybe transitioning, we could actually have an Illuminati.
That would be pretty awesome.
that
Which
be
would
nice.
fit with what Disney has done, especially again, we look at, going back to it, Guardians of the Galaxy, and even with the Inhumans. It's not something we expected either.
No.
So,
No.
so that's
So
my
now
crazy
is-
theory. Who knows,
Who
maybe
would
in
you
4
replace
years.
Professor Xavier with? Because we couldn't use him.
Right.
So we'd have to find somebody to replace
Black Panther's
him.
been on the Illuminati before, so that's
That's-
pretty
there you go.
crazy
There
right
you
there.
go.
Panthers there and
Nice.
another properties
Yeah.
there. So that's not far-fetched it is something that would take a little legal work and a little creativity from Disney, but we've already seen them pull that off.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I'm kind of
I would be
interested to
very
see.
super excited about that.
We'll wait and see. So we know Phase 4 is years away, and we already have heard, like I said, Kevin Feige said, drastically different. So all we can do is speculate now and hope that with Civil War coming out in just a few weeks, and actually next week is Civil War. So we'll get to see that start and proceed through Phase 3. It should be an interesting year for Marvel.
I want to say real quickly, Ghost Rider. I want my Robbie Ray as Ghost Rider if we can't get John
That's
DeLace.
right, because the Ghost Rider rights did go back to...
They did.
That's
Blade,
right. Yes.
Ghost Rider, and a couple others got picked. That's when they got Daredevil
Yeah.
and Punisher, actually.
Right. I forgot that Ghost Rider was in on all that.
All right, guys. Well, we'll
I would
wait
love
and
to see an actual Ghost Rider movie.
Well, that would be something interesting to see. But just like every week, you know what tomorrow is? Craig, what's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is New Comic Book Day.
Right? And that means today we're going to give you our comic book picks of the week. These are the 3 titles we think you should not miss while grabbing your regular titles off of the shelf. Freddie, as always, you are a comic book expert. Get us started. What is your can't miss issue for this week?
I have Chew Demon Chicken Boyo. It's written by John Layman, arts by Rob Gilroy. It is about it's in the Chew universe where basically there's all these different superpowered people that have food powers. In this superpowered universe with food powers, there is the FDA, who is the superpowered giant police force, and most of their police officers are partnered up with cybernetic animals. We have Pollo here, the cybernetic chicken, who also is so badass he went to hell and defeated Satan. So in this issue,
Good night, it's a Ghost Rider chicken.
It
It's
is.
a Ghost Rider chicken.
In this issue, we have a father, aka a priest, telling bedtime stories to a exorcist kid. And she is being scared to death. The demon is being scared out of her by the tales of Pollo kicking everyone's ass.
Interesting. Well, that's something to definitely look forward to.
Yes.
Craig, what is your pick?
Godzilla Oblivion #2. Writer is Joshua Hell. I'm probably going to butcher this name. Feldkopf. Art by Brian Chirilla, and the cover is also by Brian Chirilla. So, scientists have found a way to look into other dimensions. And of course, what did they bring back? They bring back King Ghidorah. So now that King Ghidorah is rampaging through the universe without giant kaiju, they have no experience with this. Nothing is stopping this monster. Do they dare think the unthinkable and bring Godzilla? Because Godzilla is the only thing that's been able to stop him.
Nice.
Oh, fantastic. So there's Craig's pick to check out. And mine is a little interesting here. I decided to go with Power Man and Iron Fist #3. It's written by David Walker, art by Sanford Green, as well as the cover by Sanford Green. And the reason this is my pick is this story talks about Power Man and Iron Fist and have had a strained relationship when this series starts. So now they have to go through the process of rebuilding this. And the reason I picked this because I think this storyline is going to give us a hint as to what we are going to see when Luke Cage hits, when Iron Fist comes out with a Netflix series leading into the Defenders. So I think what we're getting right now is Marvel just setting us up for that.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a great read to, if you are a fan of the Netflix series, to head forward from there. So that is my pick. So good stuff. Good stuff. Make sure you guys go out there and check out those titles. And now, as we are getting towards the end of the show here, we like to talk about the coolest thing we saw this week. And it could be anything within the nerd world. Craig, what was the coolest thing you saw this week?
Saw the Toho release Godzilla Resurgence trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that
looks
is
fantastic. You know, you have
Iconic, classic Godzilla look.
Molten Godzilla.
the real king of the monsters, the king of the kaijus is back. And Japan's like, oh, you did a pretty nice job over there, America, with your Godzilla one. Let's show you how it's
Let's
done.
up it a bit.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Freddie?
All right, so Roger Corman is back with Death Race 2050, and Danny Trejo just posted on his Facebook page that he just wrapped shooting on that movie. If you guys don't know Death Race 2000 from the 70s, it is one of Sylvester Stallone's first movies. It is about...
Fantastic.
If you remember Wacky Races with all the cartoon characters in the race, it's basically that, except the Death Race is ruled by Mr. President, who the entire world watches the death race happen, and there's all these sponsors for the death racers. One of them is Robert Carradine, who played Bill from Kill Bill as Frankenstein, and he is like the most infamous racer there is. So it's basically this, it's the death race, and this is death race.
You have to like kill people to get more points.
Yeah, the more people you kill, the more points you get, and that counts pedestrians, babies, anybody. And there's a resistance that fights the death race and Mr. President. So this is set like 20, 30 years in the future, Death Race 2050, and I had no idea Danny Trejo was going to be in it. So when he posted that, I was just like, oh my god. You know what? The only thing that makes this better if Sylvester Stallone came back as Kill Joe.
Well, there you go. We're going to look forward to hopefully seeing a trailer from that soon.
Oh, thank God.
All right, guys. Now, I teased this on our Facebook live stream, and I talked about it earlier, and now it is time. So the coolest thing I saw this week is Clark Gregg. We all know who he is. Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
The one of the finest Marvel human beings we've known to date, has done something special, and we want you guys to take a look at it. Roll this footage here. Let's take a look.
Baby, can't you see I'm calling? Got you, should bear warning. It's dangerous, I'm falling. Ooh, the taste of your lips, I'm all away. Your toxic and slipping away. Taste of a poison paradise.
Lip Sync Battle, hosted by LL Cool J. New episodes Thursdays at 10 on Spike.
Wow. What do you think, guys?
I'm sorry. Only he could do this and make it awesome. Only he could do this and just be awesome. He is so willing to make fun of himself in an effort to entertain people that he is just awesome. I love him.
It just takes him to another level of respect that I have for that man. Just as brilliant as it comes.
Sexy as hell.
That's something you can't unsee.
No.
Nope.
So if you're not familiar, Lip Sync Battle, which airs on Spike TV, they take celebrities and they each compete using lip sync. I think a lot of costume and cosplay contests in the convention scene are starting to do this thing. But if you want to see one of the originals, I think it started actually on The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon doing some of these. But it's continued with Lip Sync Battle, and to see The Rock perform, to see all these big-name actors, Joseph Gordon-Levitt performing, Janet Jackson is another must-see. So that's the first teaser they've released from this, so definitely look it up for when it finally does hit the full performance. To see Clark Gregg, Agent Coulson, perform Toxic from Britney Spears. So that was the coolest thing I saw this week.
I think you win the internet.
Make sure you guys go and check that out a couple of times. Yeah. You just need to see that. So, thanks guys for hanging out with us. Hopefully I didn't let you down with that video. I thought it was the coolest thing I saw. We appreciate you hanging out with our weekly walkthroughs of everything that is nerd. And you guys have any final thoughts for the week? Craig, what you got?
Game of Thrones starts Sunday, April 24th. Bring out your popcorn and let's find out what happens.
Fantastic. All right, so look for that. Freddie, what you got?
I win because I bring you set photos from James Franco's Disaster Artist, based on the making of the greatest film, The Room. Go look them up. They're amazing. There's a poster. He looks exactly like Tommy Wiseau. Lisa, I did not hurt him. I did not. Greatness. Greatness.
All right, so that's Freddie's final thought. I thank you guys for joining us. Another episode of the Nerd Ninja Show. I thought it was pretty interesting. What did you think?
It was all right.
It was all right.
It was amazing. It was great. Loved it.
Well, if you guys have any comments, feel free to send them to us outside of the show on any social media using the handle Nerd Ninja TV. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, 8:30 Central, where you can see our Fright Master Freddy, along with his co-host Ash Von Horror, host the Nerd Ninja Horror Show right here on Nerd Ninja TV. And don't forget to tune in Thursday at 8:30 as well for the Nerd Ninja Girl Show. We'll take a look and see what those ladies have to bring. Good stuff. For Freddie and Craig, my name is Joe Uribe. I've been your host for tonight, and we will see you nerds next week. Take care.
Later, guys.
Later, guys.